welcome to my channel. Life Speaking Food, good food for every soul and a word for every heart. Hey you guys, it's Chef Dolores, and today we're going to be making Russian cake. Now, this is a request from a chef that I know. His name is Tony, and he asked me to make a Russian cake. So, I've never made that before, but I am going to make it. I'm positive I can do it because I'm going to follow the directions. So, what I noticed about this cake, it is a lot of different techniques and it's a build to it. So, you guys come along in the kitchen and we're going to get started on this Russian cake. It is 8 layers, okay? I'm not taking any shortcuts. I'm going to attempt to do this cake. It is a process, and you guys probably won't see pictures until the next day. So, let's get in the kitchen. Let's get started on this Russian cake. Like I said, I never made this cake before, so we'll see how it goes. Let's get in the kitchen. Let's go. Okay, you guys, these are the ingredients for our Russian cake. We have our flour and the eggs. That's going to give the structure. There's a pinch of salt in here. It's going to counteract with the sweetness from the honey and the sugar. This also, the eggs is the binder and also helps with the structure of the cake. The butter is going to bring all the flavors together. And then we have our baking soda, which is going to cause a reaction when we mix the honey with the sugar, bring a heat to it. And then we're going to add the baking soda. Now, this may sound odd, but it's going to turn out fine. This is sour cream. We're going to mix the sour cream with the powdered sugar. That's going to help balance out the sweetness of the cake. And we're going to layer this thing in several layers. So, let's get this process going. Let's go. Okay, you guys, so now, as you can see, I have a double boiler here. I'm going to bring that temperature down a little bit here. We're going to go ahead and add the butter so that it can melt. It's always good to have a double boiler. So important. You can create it. As you can see, mine's is just a pot. And there's the bowl right there. So we're going to let that melt down. And it don't have to be completely melted, but we're going to let it melt a little bit. Let's help assist it a little bit. Stir here. Now this is my first time making this cake. Now we're going to go ahead and put the sugar in there. We're going to add all of the honey. It's so important to get the right type of honey. You don't want to just get any honey. The darker the honey, the better. So this is a new recipe for me as well. Chef Tony requested that I cook this, so I said, okay, I could do that. So we're just going to stir this up until everything combines. And it's going to get to a nice soft foam. So that's what we're doing right now, you guys. We're stirring this up. Now, when I completely done making this cake,
Ooh, it's going to be a very rich cake, as you can see. I'm going to have to give this cake away. I can't eat this cake. I will taste it, of course. So some people, they mess up making cakes when they don't follow the recipe, and we talked about that before. Remember how I stated that baking is an exact recipe. So make sure if something calls for a cup, you put a cup. If it calls for 3 eggs, you put 3 eggs. Even though you may think like it needs a little bit more, don't do it. Trust me. You'll mess it up all the time. This is the most important part of the Russian cake, is what I'm doing right now with the honey, butter, and the sugar. If you mess this part up, this is the whole foundation of the cake. So it's so important that you do not burn this, that you keep an eye on it. It is so, so important, you guys. So I'm going to turn that up just a little bit. And while that's cooking a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and mix my eggs. Now, I'm not going to add the eggs to this until this cools down. Why is that? Because I do not want the eggs to cook in this hot liquid. So I'm just mixing my eggs up just a little. They're not completely as one, but they are mixed. Okay, we'll set that aside, and we will keep an eye on this. And right when it gets to a nice foam, you guys will see. So stand by. Okay, you guys, so we're going to go ahead and add this baking soda, okay? There we go. We're going to stir that up. We add this baking soda. It's going to cause a chemical reaction there. And I want to make sure I get those lumps out of there. So let me use a different one here. No worries, it didn't ruin the cake or anything. You guys will see. It's bringing up a nice foam here. See how that comes out? Just like that. Now I want to go ahead and remove this. And we're going to let this cool. And when it cools, we're going to add our eggs. So this is how it looks, you guys. We'll let that cool for a minute. And we will go from there, you guys. Stand by. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and take our eggs, pour them in there, just like that. We're gonna mix that together really good. I wouldn't say this is a very simple recipe, let me say that. So we're gonna go ahead and incorporate this into a bigger pot. Gotta get it all out of there. And this will seize pretty fast. So I want you guys to see how this process goes. The cake is actually gonna look like a ball or a dough. That's how it's going to look when I get done. So I'm gonna start off with my spatula as far as mixing everything. And then I'm going to incorporate the flour. And then I'll finish off with my hands. This is going to be very interesting. I'm curious myself as to how this is going to turn out, to be honest with you. But I like a challenge. I am a chef of savory and sweet, which means I enjoy baking and cooking savory food. So we don't want to overmix this, remember? We talked a little bit about overmixing. Instead, I'm just going to use just a little bit folding. Just like that. Until all of this comes together. I think that's where a lot of people mess up with their cakes. They overmix it. And that's a problem. Or, we talked about this before, they did not follow the recipe. So, I should get at least 8 pieces out of this. At least that's the goal. So now that I see a part coming together, I'm going to use my hands for the rest. Because I don't want to miss out on any ingredients. All right, let's do this. You kind of want to work a little fast. It does get sticky. The dough is going to be a little sticky, but understand that. And remember how I talked about you don't want anything white showing, no left out flour. We want to make sure everything is incorporated. So that is what I am doing right now. So I think the consistency looks pretty good. And I am going to remove my gloves here in a minute because I really need to get my hands in here. So I got all the dough. Let's take these gloves off. Whew. Flour. You don't want to put a lot down. And we're going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 6 minutes. So I'm going to have about 8 layers. So let's spread this here. So here we go. We're also going to let it rest too. Getting out 8 of these. I'm going to drop these down. Ooh. So whatever doesn't come out real even, I'm going to use that as well. So believe me, all of this is going to be used. Now I could take the time out to measure each one to make sure it's weighed the same, but I'm just going to cut away from the outside corners and use the cake crumbs and use those up, and that'll be my topping. So the goal is to get all of this batter out of here, get it rolled out, and then bring it together. So stay tuned. Okay, you guys, as you can see, here's my roller pin, and we're going to keep these covered up. We want to get 8 layers in. So I'm going to roll this one out, and I'm going to put it in the oven for 6 minutes on about 350. So the key is to watch this closely when you're cooking these. You do not want to overcook them. That's so important. So we'll keep those covered up. I'm going to put a little bit more flour on my rolling pin here. And I just want to kind of roll this out real thin. Now, this doesn't take long to cook. I try to tell people, whatever you do, follow follow the directions. I could use a smaller roller pin, but I don't have one with me. So we're gonna work with this, right? This is a very rich cake. We'll see how we make sure we get them all the same size, and what we have overlapped, we will use that, like I said, as our topping to finish off the cake. So let's do one more roll here. And you guys will see me do this just one, and then the rest I will show you when I'm done. So I used the back of a cookie sheet. I put some parchment paper over here, and I just turned it upside down, and this will be one piece of my cake out of the 8 that I'm going to do. So we will have some overlap because all of them on that plate is not equal, and we will use that as a topping. So once you get it out real thin, it's going to rise, you'll see. I'll bring it out and I'll show you guys what it looks like. And I have to clean up this mess. I cannot stand, I cannot stand a mess. I see I have flour everywhere. So we will get that done, get this in the oven, 350 for about 6 minutes. But keep an eye on it, it could be different for each oven. Let's get this in the oven. Okay, you guys, so I have all the layers cooked. I wanted to show you guys how I got all these little mini cakes so small. About 7 of them under there. They cook really fast. So I have a frame of my plate here with the gold trimming around there. So what I did with my serrated knife, which just has wedges in it, you just cut right around it. Now, is it gonna be perfect? No. But if you guys wait till you see how it looks when I am all done. So I wanted to show you how I got all of those to look similar to what I'm doing now. Instead of taking up the whole video, cutting each one of these. Now, I think there's a lot of technique that goes into this cake. It's a very well balanced cake. So the crumbs that I have crumbled up already over there, I'm going to crumble those up as well. And then we're going to put those back into the oven. Get them nice, dark brown, but not burnt. Don't want anything burnt. So, put that right on top of there. And I have all my layers. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and make the icing. We're going to layer each one. We're going to toast these. And we're going to put the icing on the cake on the outside and put the crumbs all around it. And then we'll put it in the refrigerator overnight. And we'll cut it, and then you guys will get to see how it looks in the middle. So these are all my layers that I have here. See that? So let's get this all together, you guys. So stand by. Let's go in the kitchen and get this icing done. It's very simple. It's just the sour cream and the powdered sugar. Stand by. Okay, you guys. So we have our sour cream in here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put all of the powdered sugar in here. Now, you know, some of you guys probably thinking, I've never heard of that type of icing. Well, something new all the time. So we're going to whip this up as
it's going to make the cake very balanced. So remember, the cake is sweet from the honey and the sugar that I melted. Let's get this turned on. And we just want to get it blended well. Some of that off the side here. We don't want any lumps in here, so we want to make sure we get it blended very well. I'll speed that up a little. Okay, we're going to let this sit in the refrigerator for a few minutes, and we're going to go ahead and get our cake iced up, and we will get it all decorated. All right, stand by, you guys. Okay, you guys, so you see we have the cake crumbs I toasted there, and then I had the sour cream and the powdered sugar, whipped it together. Now, this is going to go on really thin, so understand that is okay. That's normal. And we're going to layer the first one. And we're just going to keep layering till we get to the top. And once we get them all layered, I'm going to go ahead and put the breadcrumbs on them. So this layering does not have to be fancy because it's going to be breadcrumbs on the outside. And we're going to put this in the refrigerator overnight, and then we will see how it goes, okay? So I think we got like 7 layers. We're supposed to have 8, but I wanted to make sure we had enough breadcrumbs, so that is why we do not have all of them. So, that other one on top here. Oh, I can't wait to see what this tastes like. It's gonna be interesting. So I think this is a very balanced cake because the cake is so thin, but it's so sweet with the honey and the sugar. And then you have that tartness from the sour cream and then a little bit more sugar to kind of balance it out. And then you're going to take those sugar breadcrumbs from the honey that we trimmed from around the cake, because remember, it's got honey in the cake batter. I think it's going to be a pretty balanced cake. So I am going to finish getting this all together, you guys. And you guys stay tuned for the finishing product. We're going to see how this tastes. I don't know if a lot of you guys would like to take the time to make this, but just wanted to do this for Chef Tony. He had mentioned it, so I said, of course I'll do it. That was a while ago, but I'm getting it done now. So we will go from there, you guys. You stay tuned. Okay, you guys, you see the cake is all iced up. I'm just going to put the cake crumbs all over it. It's always good to have a sheet pan underneath when you're doing this so you don't have so much of a mess. It just goes right into the sheet pan. So we have all the icing over it. Now let's go ahead and put the cake crumbs around it and let's get it in the refrigerator. Let's go. Okay, you guys, we have it all together. See that? So when you cut it, That is when you really see the beauty of this cake, okay? Looks like a little crunch cake to me. So in the refrigerator it goes until the morning. And I will cut it for you guys so you can see how it looks inside.
Wow. The Word of God says, do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. In Romans 12, verse 2. It's when you really begin to see this world through the lens of God. For me, it's enlightenment, it's humbling, not yearning for nothing this world has to offer. Yet it keeps me seeking the Holy Spirit and always in a prostration position.